The NFL season is back finally, but before we kick off this Sunday, we have to talk about the new rules that are coming in this season and all these crazy storylines that are surrounding the 2021 NFL season. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down because it's your thumb, and let's go ahead and get into the first video in the How the NFL Works Simplified series. During this offseason, the players and the owners signed a new collective bargaining agreement, which had a lot of things that brought to this season, but the most notable thing was that the season was being extended to 17 games in 18 weeks. This is a pretty big deal because that has never happened yet in the NFL, and a lot of people suspect that in the next collective bargaining agreement that they could move to 18 games in this season. The big deal about the 17th game, aside that it's an extra game in the season, is that it'll be a game against their opposite conference. So there's the NFC and the AFC in the NFL, and this 17th game will be the AFC East versus the NFC East, and the AFC South versus the NFC South. There are 4 big new rules in the NFL this upcoming season, and the first one is that the receiving team on kickoffs can only have 9 players within 25 yards of the ball. This is a 1-year experiment, so this rule is not permanent, but it is to help recover more onside kicks in the NFL, as that number has decreased immensely. The next rule is that there will be a loss of down after 2 passes. 2 passes was already an illegal rule in the NFL, but they decided to add a loss of down to that. The most exciting rule that came to the NFL this season is that running back, wide receiver, tight ends, defensive backs, and linebackers can now wear single-digit numbers. This was a bit of a controversy in the past years, but since the practice squads have increased numbers, this will now allow more players to have more flexibility in the numbers. And this has brought upon a lot of change as players are changing their numbers because of this new rule. The last rule that was added this season is probably the one most people do not enjoy, and that is that the NFL is cracking down on taunting. Because of this new rule, players are no longer allowed to spike, spin, point the ball or their finger at someone, verbally taunt them, stand or step over anyone, and they're no longer allowed to do handcuff gestures, also known as Dez Bryant's The X, is no longer allowed in the NFL. And a lot of people are upset about this. Even some owners, GMs, and coaches have talked about this rule, but there's a few people who are excited about it. So let me know down in the comments how you feel about that rule. Every season brings upon new major NFL story headlines, but this season headlines are mostly about the quarterback. First, you have Cam Newton and the Patriots, who are coming back after a very hard year post Tom Brady. And you have Mac Jones, who's kind of there, that's really wants that starting position, but everyone believes in Cam. So will he actually make himself back at that Pro Bowl level this year? And this same problem exists in Chicago as well, as the Bears signed Andy Dalton during free agency, but drafted Justin Fields during the 2021 NFL draft. Who will be the continual starter of this team? No one knows, but they did announce that Andy Dalton will start in week 1. Sam Darnold has left the bounds and change of the New York Jets, who is notably known for killing NFL quarterbacks' dreams, but his second chance is in the Carolina Panthers, and will he be able to live up to the hype that he has been getting since the day he got drafted into the NFL? And last, you have the Houston Texans. That's the storyline. What's gonna happen? No one knows, but maybe they'll win a game or 2, and best of luck to whatever happens. Now that you know so much about the new rules in this upcoming NFL season, make sure to check out this video right here where I talked about how much money NFL rookies make, and this video right here where I talked about voidable contracts and took a deep dive into Taysom Hill's new contract with the New Orleans Saints. Make sure to subscribe and hit a bell so you don't miss any videos in this How the NFL Works Simplified series, because I post new videos every Monday and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know down in the comments below, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year and why? And make sure to give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down because it's still your thumb. And remember, don't be afraid to join the convo. There are 4 big rules happening in the 2021 NFL season.